The dark web's most dangerous hack. The FBI had spent years chasing shadows across the dark web, following the digital footprints of Zero Dawn, a hacker collective with the power to cripple governments and hold corporations hostage. But no matter how hard they pushed, the group slipped through their fingers, always one step ahead. Led by Marcus Hayes, the FBI's cyber division had initiated dozens of operations and sting missions in an attempt to take down the infamous group. Each one ended in failure, leaving the agency frustrated and vulnerable. But nothing could have prepared them for Zero Dawn's most recent attack. The FBI itself had been hacked, leaving their most sensitive files spread across the dark web like a virus. National security had been compromised, covert operations across the globe exposed, and undercover agents' lives put in jeopardy. The breach was catastrophic. Marcus spent sleepless nights at FBI headquarters, combing through the remains of their digital infrastructure. The question that kept haunting him was how? How had Zero Dawn penetrated their defenses so easily? There were layers upon layers of protection, some of the most advanced in the world. And yet it had been as though the hackers walked right through the front door. Then, Interpol got involved. Anna Laurent, one of Interpol's brightest cybersecurity minds, was called in to assist with the investigation. Together, she and Marcus worked around the clock, trying to untangle the mess that had been left behind. But the deeper they went into Zero Dawn's code, the more they realized that they weren't just dealing with any hackers. They were dealing with an entirely new breed of cybercriminals. The lead they needed came from Anna, who discovered a small anomaly in the code that the hackers had left behind. It wasn't a mistake, it was a signature, buried deep within the lines of malware that had infiltrated the FBI systems. The signature led them to Berlin, where they believed Zero Dawn had set up shop. But when they raided the warehouse, they walked into a trap. Zero Dawn unleashed their most devastating attack yet, a coordinated cyber assault on global infrastructure that left entire cities in darkness. Hospitals lost power, financial systems collapsed, and transportation networks came to a grinding halt. The world was on the brink of chaos, and the FBI and Interpol were powerless to stop it. But what they didn't know at the time was that Zero Dawn wasn't the only threat lurking in the shadows of the dark web. During the investigation into the warehouse in Berlin, Anna stumbled across something even more alarming: a connection between Zero Dawn and another dark web syndicate known as Black Phoenix. While Zero Dawn was focused on digital warfare, Black Phoenix had a far more sinister agenda. They specialized in bioterrorism, and according to the data that Anna had uncovered, they were planning to launch a series of attacks using genetically engineered pathogens. Their targets? Major cities across Europe and the United States. The discovery shook Marcus and Anna to their core. Not only were they dealing with the chaos caused by Zero Dawn, but now they had to stop an impending biological attack that could decimate entire populations. Anna and Marcus knew they couldn't handle this on their own. They needed a team, fast. Within hours, the FBI, Interpol, and international health agencies were mobilized. Biosecurity experts, virologists, and military personnel were brought in to assess the threat. The problem was Black Phoenix operated in complete secrecy. Unlike Zero Dawn, which left digital footprints all over the dark web, Black Phoenix was nearly invisible. The group had ties to underground laboratories in Eastern Europe and North Africa, but pinpointing their exact location was next to impossible. They were ghost operators, much like Zero Dawn, and their methods were even more terrifying. As the world reeled from the ongoing global cyber attacks, the FBI and Interpol worked tirelessly to prevent the biological attacks that were looming on the horizon. The deeper Marcus and Anna dug into the case, the more they realized how entangled Zero Dawn and Black Phoenix truly were. The two groups weren't just working together. They were part of a much larger network that spanned across the dark web, controlling various criminal enterprises from human trafficking to illegal arms sales. As chaos reigned across major cities from Zero Dawn's cyber attack, Marcus and Anna split their focus between tracking down Zero Dawn's ringleader, Spectre, and stopping Black Phoenix's bioterrorist plot. This wasn't just about code anymore. It was about lives. Marcus could feel the weight of the world on his shoulders as he realized how high the stakes had become. Anna worked with biosecurity experts to analyze the data they had pulled from the Berlin warehouse. They discovered that Black Phoenix had obtained a highly modified strain of a virus, a pathogen with the potential to spread rapidly, causing mass casualties before anyone could mount an effective defense. "They've engineered the perfect weapon," Anna said grimly, her voice barely a whisper as she looked at the digital blueprint of the virus. "It's airborne, it's contagious, and it's deadly." Marcus stared at the screen, feeling a sense of dread settle in the pit of his stomach. "How long do we have?" "Not long," Anna replied, glancing at her watch. "They've set a timeline. The first attack is set for less than 48 hours from now." There was no time to lose. Anna and Marcus scrambled to gather their teams and prepare for the next phase of the investigation. Their only lead came from a dark web forum, an anonymous user who claimed to have insider information about Black Phoenix's operations. It was risky, but Marcus had no choice but to follow the lead. They arranged a covert meeting with the informant in a small town in Romania, near one of the suspected underground laboratories. The tension was palpable as Marcus and his team arrived at the rendezvous point, a dilapidated old church on the outskirts of town. It felt like walking into a trap, but they had no other choice. The informant was late. As Marcus paced the small church, the weight of the situation pressed down on him. If this lead didn't pan out, they would lose their chance to stop Black Phoenix and prevent the biological attack. But as the minutes ticked by, he began to fear the worst, that they had walked into another dead end, or worse, another trap. Just as Marcus was about to call off the meeting, the informant arrived, a nervous-looking man in his mid-30s, constantly glancing over his shoulder. He introduced himself as Vlad, though Marcus doubted that was his real name. "They're watching everything," Vlad said, his voice trembling. "Black Phoenix, Zero Dawn, they're connected to something much bigger. They've got people on the inside. You don't know who to trust." Vlad handed Marcus a small USB drive. "This has everything you need to stop them, but you have to act fast. If they find out I gave this to you..." Vlad didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. Marcus knew what would happen if Black Phoenix or Zero Dawn discovered that one of their own had betrayed them, but he had no time to dwell on the danger. With the USB drive in hand, Marcus and Anna rushed back to headquarters. Back at FBI headquarters, the digital contents of the USB drive revealed the full extent of Black Phoenix's plans. They had coordinated multiple attacks across several major cities, targeting high-traffic areas like airports, subway systems, and public events. The modified virus had been engineered to spread rapidly through human contact, infecting thousands within hours of release. The countdown had already begun. The first attack was set for London, followed by New York, Paris, and Tokyo. If the virus was released, millions would be exposed before international health agencies could respond. The room fell silent as the FBI and Interpol teams absorbed the gravity of the situation. Time was running out. They had to stop the attacks before they began. Using the information provided by Vlad, Anna pinpointed the location of Black Phoenix's underground lab in Romania. Marcus mobilized a tactical unit, preparing to storm the lab and seize the virus before it could be deployed. But as they approached the lab, a chilling realization set in. Black Phoenix had been prepared for this. The lab was heavily guarded, and the group had rigged the facility with explosives. Any wrong move could trigger the release of the virus, spelling disaster for everyone. In the final moments, Marcus and Anna coordinated a delicate strike, disabling the explosives and capturing the remaining members of Black Phoenix. The virus was secured, the threat neutralized. The fallout from the dual investigation into Zero Dawn and Black Phoenix shook the world to its core. Though the immediate threat had been stopped, both organizations had exposed vulnerabilities in global infrastructure that would take years to repair. Governments and corporations alike began to rethink their cybersecurity measures, knowing that another attack could come at any moment. For Marcus and Anna, the battle was far from over. As the world breathed a collective sigh of relief, they both knew that this is the dark web's most dangerous hack. As the fallout from Zero Dawn's massive cyber attack rocked the globe, Marcus and Anna had to split their focus. With power grids, financial systems, and critical infrastructure collapsing, they uncovered an even more terrifying plot involving a dark web bioterrorist syndicate called Black Phoenix. While Zero Dawn sought to paralyze the world with digital destruction, Black Phoenix had a far deadlier objective. the release of a genetically engineered virus targeting major cities. Black Phoenix had been silently operating in tandem with Zero Dawn, and now their bioterrorist plot was set to unfold. As hospitals overflowed with patients unable to access critical medical systems, and countries scrambled to restore power and basic services, the FBI and Interpol discovered that the two groups were coordinating attacks that could plunge the world into chaos unlike anything humanity had ever experienced. In the wreckage of the Zero Dawn trap in Berlin, AITA found a lead that exposed Black Phoenix plans. Their next attack wasn't digital, it was biological. According to the data pulled from the raid, they were preparing to release a modified airborne virus that could cause a deadly pandemic. The bioweapon was engineered to spread rapidly through human contact, making public places like airports, subways, and mass gatherings prime targets. The virus had the potential to incapacitate entire cities within hours. Governments across the world were still scrambling to contain the damage from the cyber attack, but now a biological threat loomed on the horizon. The clock was ticking. Marcus and Anna arranged to meet a former Black Phoenix operative, an informant who had turned against the group after realizing the scale of their upcoming attack. This man, known only as Vlad, had been instrumental in designing the virus. He had gone into hiding after the group's plans escalated beyond his control, but he had valuable information that could help them locate the labs where the virus was being produced. The meeting took place in a desolate Romanian town, at the crumbling ruins of a church. Marcus and Anna arrived at the location with their FBI team, but tension hung in the air. Every shadow seemed like a threat, every sound a potential ambush. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation, and they could feel the weight of the world on their shoulders. Vlad, a gaunt, nervous figure, appeared late, trembling as he handed over a USB drive that contained the locations of Black Phoenix's secret labs. "They're watching everything," Vlad muttered. "If they know I've betrayed them, I'm dead." As the team analyzed the contents of the USB drive, they discovered that the first virus release was less than 48 hours away. The initial target was London, but if they didn't act fast, New York, Paris, and Tokyo would be next. The plan was in motion. The FBI and Interpol mobilized quickly, sending biosecurity experts and military operatives to the labs identified by Vlad. But when Marcus, Anna, and the tactical team arrived at the primary lab in Romania, they were met with a scene straight out of a nightmare. The facility was rigged with explosives. Any wrong move could set off a chain reaction, releasing the virus into the atmosphere. Marcus had to rely on Anna's quick thinking and expertise to navigate the high-stakes operation. Together, they devised a plan to disarm the explosives and secure the virus. With precision and teamwork, Marcus's unit managed to disarm the explosives. But Black Phoenix wasn't about to give up without a fight. The group had expected law enforcement to arrive, and they had a backup plan in place: remote detonation. As Marcus worked to extract the virus from the facility, Anna intercepted a signal from Black Phoenix's leader, who was attempting to detonate the explosives remotely. In a nail-biting sequence of events, Anna used her technical skills to jam the signal, preventing the detonation just in time. The virus was secured, and Black Phoenix's lab was dismantled. But even as Marcus and Anna celebrated the victory, the leader of Black Phoenix escaped. The mastermind behind the bioterrorist plot was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for another opportunity to strike. The collapse of Zero Dawn and the thwarting of Black Phoenix's biological attack left the world in a fragile state. In the days following the operation, governments scrambled to rebuild, and cybersecurity measures were tightened across the board. But the scars from the attack ran deep. The world had been shaken to its core, exposed to how vulnerable it truly was. For Marcus and Anna, the victory was bittersweet. They had stopped Zero Dawn and prevented a global pandemic, but they both knew the dark web remained a dangerous frontier, teeming with threats they hadn't even begun to unravel. The hunt for Black Phoenix leader would continue, but for now they had won a critical battle. As they stood on the tarmac at the makeshift Romanian command center, watching the captured bioweapons being loaded onto secure transport vehicles, Marcus turned to Anna. "We did it," he said, though there was little celebration in his voice. Anna nodded, her eyes scanning the horizon. For now, the dark web still loomed, a place of secrets and shadows. And as long as it existed, Marcus and Anna knew they would always be called back into the fight. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more thrilling stories, and we'll see you again soon.